Join us on this 9.5 miles kayak from Monmouth to Brockweir on the Wye River on the 16th of July 2022. This route took us from the historic town of Monmouth down to the quaint village of Redbrook, past Bigsweir Bridge, and then down onto the tidal part of the Wye before finally landing at Brockweir. It's about 12:30 PM and we've parked up at Monmouth Rowing Club, and we're just going to launch now onto the Wye and head downstream. Looking downstream towards the Wye Bridge in Monmouth. The original wooden bridge was apparently built in the Middle Ages. Just heading downstream from Monmouth, which is a historic town which is a settlement dating back to Roman and Norman times. Just downstream from Monmouth we're heading towards the Duke of Beaufort Bridge, which used to carry a railway line which is now obviously disused.
Take it down to LA. Find a place to come out.
As is often the case with the Wye in the summer, the river alternated between racy, shallow sections and slower, deeper sections. This view is looking back upstream towards Monmouth. The section of the river between Monmouth and Redbrook is very popular, especially in the summer. Downstream from Monmouth, the river was quite busy with a mixture of Canadian canoes, paddleboarders and kayakers. The resident swans looked on bemused. Looks like another set of rapids coming up. I hope Captain Keever is tethered down his bottle of cider. Those swans are probably wondering why there's a bunch of nutters paddling downstream on a boiling hot day. In terms of logistics, we left a vehicle at Brockweir at the end of the route and another vehicle at Monmouth Rowing Club at the start of the route. If you only had one vehicle, then there is a bus 69 operated by Phil Anslow coaches that runs between Monmouth and Brockweir, which could also be used to get back to the start. The timetable is linked below. The best thing about river kayaking is that you can often just drift downstream with the current. Archie and I were using a tandem drop stitch kayak, which is very similar to the tandem versions of the Evolution Sandbanks Optimal and the Aquatech Ottawa kayaks. This 9.5 miles journey was part of the kayak crew's undertaking to paddle every section of the 105 miles or so of the Wye River between Glasbury all the way down to Chepstow. This map shows how we have split the river up into sections of between 7 miles to about 12 miles during our undertaking to kayak the entire 105 miles of the river from Glasbury down to Chepstow. We're uploading blogs of our trips on the Wye River to our website link below, and we're also uploading videos of all of our trips to the Wye Valley playlist of our channel. We're about 2.5 miles downstream from Monmouth, and that's the bridge we're coming up to, which connects Penallt on the west bank with Redbrook on the east bank. We're just going to land here at the boat inn at Penallt for a pub stop, which is the favourite part of our trips. This is the beer garden on the back of the boat inn at Penallt. The boys ran some ciders and sandwiches to refuel. There's also a beer garden out the front of the boat inn down there overlooking the river. This is a great pub for a stop off on your paddle. That's where we left our kayaks, on the bank down there below the boat inn, just checking that nobody's paddled off with them. We're back on the water now after our pub stop, feeling refreshed and refueled. We just passed Redbrook back there on the east bank. Franz decided to stand up and use his kayak paddleboard style. Might be something to do with the cider he just had in the boat in. I better keep my camera ready for when Fran loses his balance and falls in. He does a lot of paddleboarding though, to be fair, so he should be okay. Fran's using my Aquatech Ottawa full drop stitch inflatable kayak for the paddle today, and Keeva's in the green Pro Aqua inflatable kayak behind him. Because the Aquatech Ottawa is a drop stitch kayak, it goes up to about 10 or 12 psi. It's very similar to the Sandbanks and Evolution kayaks. It was so hot that we decided to stop about halfway along the route so that some of the guys could cool off in the river. Even Captain Keever went in for a dip. At least it gave us a break from his singing. After the guys had enjoyed their paddle on the river, we set off again downstream, with about 4 miles to go to Brockweir. As usual in the summer, the river is alternating between deeper, slower sections and shallower, rapid sections. One of those cows looks like he wants to go in our kayak. We always use the website River Levels UK to check the water levels in the river before we do any river kayaking like this. The gauging stations relevant to this section are the ones at Monmouth and Redbrook. The river level was quite low today when we checked it, much lower than it normally is because it's been quite dry. The water levels are generally safe when they are comfortably within the normal range, which comprises the green part of the gauge graphic. On the day of our paddle, the water was very low in the brown segment below the usual range, and we found ourselves hitting rocks underneath the water and bottoming out now and again. We dodged rocks and boulders on the shallow sections as we progressed downstream, by 4:45 in the afternoon approaching Bigsweir, which is about 6 miles along the 9.5 miles route. Archie and I were performing a rearguard action in our tandem inflatable kayak that we christened the Bismarck, due to the size of it. The landing stage at Bigsweir Bridge can be seen on the right bank. When we had paddled this section of the river previously, we had always landed at Bigsweir Bridge. Bigsweir Bridge is about 6 miles downstream from Monmouth. If you land here, then you can park in a large lay-by near to the bridge. We're downstream from Bigsweir Bridge now, and the river will start to become tidal, although there's still some shallow, rapidy sections, so we're not out of the woods yet. Fran has gone ahead as a guinea pig to see what this rapidy bit is like. Bet a duck here, or it could be left dangling from one of those overhanging branches. It's about 2.5 miles to go to Brockweir. It's about 5 o'clock in the afternoon. These wooded gorges that the Wye flows through are absolutely stunning. At Brockweir, we've left one of our vehicles in a large lay-by which is about 150 metres up the road from Brockweir Bridge. There's also a small parking area by Brockweir Bridge itself, but that's for residents, although you can drop off and pick up if you want to there. Fran has accidentally dropped his expensive Ray-Ban sunglasses in the water, so he's diving to look for them. We were now only 2 miles or so from Brockweir, and the river was definitely transitioning to a more tidal or estuarine character, with muddy, rush-covered banks. This was our first paddle on the Wye, which went onto the tidal range of the river. About 105 miles of the Wye can be paddled from Glasbury all the way down to Chepstow, but only the southernmost 14 miles or so of it is tidal. Using the Chepstow tide times, it was high tide at about 10:30 AM and low tide at about 5:30 PM in the afternoon on the day of our kayak, with a high tide of about 12.97 metres. While this section is not as tidal as the lower sections going down to Tintern and Chepstow, unless you were landing at Brockweir within 2 to 3 hours or so of high tide, then you will have to get up a large muddy bank when you land there. Conversely, if the tide is in when you land at Brockweir, the water will be up towards the top of the bank there, making it a much easier landing. The following day we paddled the next section of the river down from Brockweir to Chepstow, and that section was very tidal, quite different to this one. The river becomes increasingly tidal downstream from Brockweir. See the video of our Brockweir to Chepstow kayak in our Wye River playlist on our channel to see how we got on and how we had a very close call at the Chepstow Boat Club. The end is in sight. You can see Brockweir Bridge down there. We're going to land on the left just above the bridge. What another amazing paddle on the Wye River. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please give us a thumbs up and consider clicking on the button on the left below to subscribe to our channel and get updates about trip reports, kayaking guides and product review videos. Click on the button on the right below to be taken to our playlist of our Wye River videos. Check out our website, which is linked below, for trip reports, product reviews and kayaking guides. Happy paddling from the kayak crew.